All right, today we're going to talk about downward facing dog, and Buster really insisted on playing a part, so I let him join in. So let's talk about some common alignment cues first for this pose. I often hear hands at shoulder width distance apart, middle fingers aim forward, elbow creases face forward, and shoulders away from ears, but this is really all going to depend on the unique body in the pose. So we have to consider shoulder structure and how the acromion process, the glenoid fossa, and the humerus all come together and articulate together, and this is going to change from body to body. So depending on someone's unique shape, that's going to determine how the hands need to be placed. So really it's going to come down to the student feeling what's happening in the shoulder joints. What you want to find in the shoulders in this pose is just the overall sensation of stability and spaciousness. You want to avoid any sort of pinchy, compressive sort of sensations. And the options are taking the hands wider or closer, angling them differently, and allowing the shoulder blades just to go with the arm. So instead of taking them away from the ears, let them just sort of action toward the arm bones. The other thing to consider is just the foot placement. So if we have a shorter base down dog, feet closer to hands, that's going to increase the posterior or back body stretch. And if you take the feet farther back, well, that's going to decrease the posterior chain stretch, and it's going to give a little more sensation of spaciousness in the spine. So those are some of the options we can play with. And just remember that there's just so many different ways to do the pose. I suggest you constantly explore, investigate, change things up all the time so that you're just giving your body and your mind a different experience from day to day. To keep in mind here is that the heels may or may not ever reach the floor. That is going to really be determined by ankle structure. If I take my feet closer to my hands, my heels get closer to the floor. But if I take my feet farther back, it's much more challenging for my heels to touch the floor. So know that that's going to really vary from body to body. So if someone is new to this pose and they're just building their strength, or they need a modification for some other reason, this pose, coming to the knees, puppy pose, is a great modification or variation. The one thing you have to watch out for is the shoulder joints not getting over compressed. I find that if I take a block and place it underneath my forehead, or if I just don't let my head go to the floor, I minimize that overhead shoulder flexion to where I'm not compressing too much. So I hope you enjoyed my downward facing dog tutorial. Just keep in mind there is so much information out there these days about anatomy, biomechanics, and yoga alignment, and so much great stuff. Just know that your most powerful alignment is going to be felt from within. So take all the information there is to find out there and then just filter it through your own experience. If you like this sort of stuff, go to my website, stacydockins.com. Go to the Posture Lab. You'll find lots of different information on postures and such. If you want to connect on social media, I'd love that. My Instagram handle is Texas Yoga Stacy. Have a great day, and thanks so much for watching.